Globalization is a growth to a global or worldwide scale, also known as the globalization of the communication industry. It brings the economics and politics of all countries together through business and financial relations. In a shrinking world, life is too big to fit in only one culture. Countries are too interconnected. Globalization results in global culture that varies from state to state, from country to country, but has a lot in common. Of world globalization, Kazakhstan for years of sovereignty managed to line up the literate politics of development of external connections in business and economic growth. However, Kazakhstan is losing its identity, its culture, and uniqueness. The President of Republic of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Abishevich Nazarbayev, hopes to make Kazakhstan a transcontinental economic bridge, a regional locomotive between Asia and Europe. Many private businesses and companies known in the country became international and can be found almost in every country in the world. Through business, they connect countries and their cultures, resulting in unavoidable globalization. Global corporations are becoming more than a business. They are rapidly going towards becoming traditions of our new society, global society. If you think of coffee, you will think of Starbucks. If you think of a car, you immediately think of Mercedes or Toyota. If you think about burgers, then you think about Burger King or McDonald's. And I bet if you think of oil or gasoline, you're definitely thinking about Shell or Mobil 1. International corporations had great impact on the Republic of Kazakhstan through shaping Kazakhstan's developing culture, growing economy, and even clean environment. Kazakhstan's culture was a result of influence from all over the world. Since the beginning of Silk Road, cultures were mixed because of merchants from all over the world, from all regions, where now they're mixed because of international corporations that have enormous influence on Kazakhstan's economy. Currently, Kazakhstan is a platter with Western, Eastern, Northern, and Southern cultures. There was too much influence from developed West, traditional East, totalitarian North, and religious Middle East to call Kazakhstan an independent country with its own unique culture. In Kazakhstan's international companies such as Shell, Ajib, KPMG, Gazprom, etc. They're bringing their way of business and life overall to the country, to people, resulting new traditions to appear. Of all aspects that were affected by this immediate globalizations, culture and business culture were affected the most. Developing culture was affected by international companies because they brought Western professionals who brought Western culture into Kazakhstan. Over time, traditional or Soviet attributes of life changed to Western or Eastern. Even the architecture became a mix of all countries. It became a uniform blend of East and West. In this kernable blend of attributes from all over the world became clear description of modern Kazakhstan. Furthermore, cash flow brought from around the world into the country from these international companies resulted wealthier upper class of people to appear. Wealthy people became wealthier by selling countries' raw resources. To sell them, people went to study abroad and were able to see the West and the East. Whenever they went to study, to get education, people took some piece of the culture from the country they're visiting and would bring it back to Kazakhstan. After studying in Cambridge in Massachusetts, my father said, "World is becoming too small for business, too narrow for entrepreneurship." He said that there are too many new opinions and ideas coming from universally shaped minds in Kazakhstan than any time before in history, bringing people from all around the world for new business, including Italians for Egypt and Unicredit, French and Americans for Mobil 1 and Shell, Russians for Gazprom, and Chinese for CNPC. Resulted a diversity of employees in different oil companies, gas companies, and other international corporations. Everyday life in cities of Kazakhstan contains all attributes of all cultures in the world. So is the Silk Road returning? Thanks for the international corporations investing into Kazakhstan's economy. Its economy is growing rapidly in this global world. GDP and GDP per capita are increasing every year, and unemployment is decreasing every single month. Western experience became a base of Kazakhstan economy, a fundamental idea. Even Kazakhstan's constitution was written on the base of French. But as everyone knows, Kazakhstan is a blend of rebellion West and loyal East. Therefore, Kazakhstan has its own path with indescribable business administration. Eastern traditions brought to Kazakhstan traditions of business and filial piety, where West had an impact such as aggressive strategy and cold blood towards competitors. With having such a mix, people lost sense of tradition. None of the facilities that were established during Soviet Union are still performing in such ways as they were during the Soviet Union. All companies are changing their strategies. All businessmen and entrepreneurs are using different methods. There is no single method used by all entrepreneurs. Every person is using the method they had during their education abroad. People are using different strategies to get rich or wealthy. People are using different ideas. People are starting up companies differently. The Kazakhstan is becoming one different culture. If national companies are changing their strategies, even Kazmunaygas, the Kazakhstan Oil National Company, is changing its strategy every time a new CEO is appointed. Changing the strategy. It depends on where the person gained his education, what was his background, etc. Therefore, there's no one right way of business in Kazakhstan. There's no one right way of how economy should grow. Kazakhstan is too global for this. Even protection of environment is undescribable. It has attributes of both East and West ways of protecting the environment. Respect to the environment came from traditional East, where environment was always respected, and it was believed that environment protects person, its motherland protects human being, and cared about future came from West, where people are rationally thinking and realize that a harmful usage of land now can result in suffrage of future generations. So Kazakhstan began to industrialize exponentially during the World War II, when a large portion of factories from Eastern Europe were moved to Kazakhstan steppes to save the productions. It became one of the largest producers of natural resources in the 1960s. Despite not being in the European Union, Kazakhstan continues to benefit from European assistance because of its Soviet past and close ties with Europe, and so the nation can take advantage of huge oil potential through selling it to Europe and to China, to all countries in the world. But Kazakhstan cannot decide where to become an Eastern or Western culture. Kazakhstan has a unique path. It's leaning towards both East and West at the same time. Kazakhstan, throughout the history, was a Silk Way intersection. Therefore, Kazakhstan was always a middle of culture. So, globalization of Kazakhstan is happening not for the first time. It already happened many centuries ago in the past. So, it's benefiting Kazakhstan over long terms. Kazakhstan is one of the most global cultures in the world.